Going to talk about waypoints, POIs, favorites, whatever you choose to call them, whether you do it in one of these. This is a new V255, which I have decided to keep, by the way, if you've watched my previous videos. I was going to sell this. Nah, I'll keep it. It works. It's good. This app on the phone is Here We Go, which uses map data by a company called Here, which is the same map data that is in Garmin Nuvies and Garmin Drive Smarts and Garmin Drive Assists and such. The problem, whether you're using Google Maps, Here We Go, Magic Earth, which is OpenStreetMap, TomTom, whether it is a GPS sat-nav or whether it is the Go app as shown here, the favorites management is, with the exception of Magic Earth, is rather horrible. As far as what is the best app on the phone to manage a bunch of favorites, it is Magic Earth. But if you are in the United States, it uses OpenStreetMap, which means that the POI search is awful because OSM, while it is very good as far as streets are concerned, as far as POIs are concerned, it's rather terrible. That's not Magic Earth's fault. That is OpenStreetMap's fault. If you're in Europe, UK, or pretty much anywhere else in the world that has a road system, OpenStreetMap is rather awesome. Except in the United States, where it really doesn't work that great. Okay, I won't say it doesn't work that great. It does work great, unless you try to search for a location, and that's what this video is about. So anyway, let's go back to Google Maps here. Now, if I was going to go, a common problem a lot of people have, I see this complained about on both apps and Garmin forums and everything, is, oh, it won't find an address. It won't find that. I can't find an address. I can't find this. I can't find that. Well, to those people, I would say you got to learn how to mark things by coordinates. And I'll show you an example. Let me just zoom in to somewhere in Plano here, Plano, Texas. There we go, Home Depot, that's a good one. So if I zoom into this and I bring up the satellite view, it is here that we can see where to turn in to the parking lot. Now this doesn't have an address. This does, the building, but the parking lot doesn't have an address. So how do you mark it? Well, we can just click. And this is the desktop version, by the way. This is not the mobile version. Although you can do this on the mobile version, but it's a bit annoying. It's easier to do it on the desktop. No question about that. So anyway, here is the address, and it gives the address, but more importantly, it gives the coordinate, which is right here. So, whoops, let me just bring that up again. So here is the coordinate. It is in decimal format. So you have your longitude and latitude, and the only numbers that matter is the first two, and then after the decimal, the first five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can take off, note that I'm up here, I can take off the last digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 33.01537 degrees north by 96.70783 degrees west. And the reason I know it's west is because there's a negative on the first number here. If it's a positive number, that's a north number. If it's a negative number, that's a south number. On this one, if it is a positive number, that is east. If it is a negative number, it is west. Do you need to remember this? No, you don't. Anyway, so 33.01537, negative 96.70783. Okay, so what do we do with this? Well, let's do this on the new V first. So let's see if I can get this in view just right. And I will do a where to and coordinate, and we will do that. So north 33 01537. And then west. Now, being a you can't really, well, you can kind of see this on the cam a little bit. The east-west number can actually go into the hundreds, or 100s, I should say. So that's why it starts with a 0. So if it's a two-digit number, start with a 0. So 096 70783 70783, done. And I'll view that on the map. And that is in fact where, let me just zoom that in a bit. And yeah, that is exactly where I want to go, and I can just hit go and I can go there. Pretty cool. This will all make more sense to you in a moment. Just let me continue to explain this. So, and I can do the same thing, and this is, here we go. So I'll do the same thing here. 33 01537 01537, comma, minus 96 dot 70783, and search. And look at that, it found it. There it is. And I can start navigating to that. Now, can you input coordinates into, just to go to the other things that I have here, into Google Maps? Sure. Into, here we go, well, you just saw that. Sure. Into Magic Earth? Yes. Into even TomTom? Sort of. If you want to view the maps in TomTom without using a TomTom, you can. Just go to mydrive.tomtom.com, and I'm going to choose the United States. Now, the problem is that if you put in a coordinate information, so I'll just go ahead and copy that, and it will find it, but yeah, see, this is right. It won't, it snaps, what's called snap to road, which is annoying. So I think in older TomToms you could do this, where you could just punch in a coordinate and go. You can do this in Garmin's, not so much in newer TomToms. It will give you the closest known address. So that's why I say you can sort of do it in TomTom. So let me close that out. Right. So anyway, older TomTom, yes. Newer TomTom and the TomTom Go app, sort of, kind of, not really. But you can totally do it in Magic Earth. You can totally do it in Here We Go. You can totally do it in Google Maps. Okay, so what is the deal with this? Why does this matter? Well, here is the reason why it matters. It is because coordinates do not change. So what happens is that if you want to navigate somewhere and the address is not in your Garmin, is not in Google Maps, is not in Here We Go, is not in Magic, or it's nowhere, but you know it exists, and you can find it by clicking on the map in Google, and you can just get the coordinate. Well, when you have the, again, the coordinate does not change, it will always be there. This is especially helpful if you're trying to navigate to somewhere that is not in the map database yet. No matter what the system is, whether it's Google Maps, here, TeleAtlas, whatever it is, you can still navigate to it because you got the coordinates, and you can punch it in directly to a Garmin Nuvi or into your mobile phone app of choice, and that matters and that works. So as long, and you can do it for anywhere. So let me just go back to the regular map here a second for it to load. I can pick anywhere I want. So for example, let's just go over to a lake. Okay, so I go to the, let me just try to find a spot here. Actually, I'll go up here. Okay, so I've never been to this area, but I don't know what it is. So, all right, this looks about right. There's a body of water right here. Just trying to see if there's anywhere Okay, Greenbelt Park, Denton. Does it have an address? It does not. This is a great example. Okay, US 380 Denton does give me any address at all. Well, how am I going to navigate to this? Okay, I could search for it, maybe, and I could find it, but the better way would just be to go right here where the entrance is, click, get that coordinate right there, and then right up here. And then again, go into here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, take off the last digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 33.23842 degrees north by 97.04144 degrees west. I punch this in to the Garmin Nuvi, Garmin Drive Smart, Garmin Drive Assist, or my mobile app of choice, and it will get me exactly right here. That is what I want. So when you find places that do not have an address, it's a fantastic thing to know. So you can, get your waypoints and just get to where you want to go. Some people think waypoints is just for hiking and being in the woods and so on. No, no, far from it. If there's something you can't find in your Garmin or your mobile app, you get that coordinate. And then you can navigate, you can tell your app or Garmin or whatever it is you're using, okay, I'm going to navigate there. And I showed the parking lot example. That's a fantastic example, actually. Like, here's a Walmart over here, and let's say for example, okay, yeah, this is the Walmart, but look at this huge parking lot. And let's just say I wanted to enter this place. There are several points of entry here. I can enter from the west side or the south side, and there's multiple points. And let's just say I wanted to enter in here from the south side at this specific spot next to this bank. Click, get the coordinate, and then again go in here, take off the last digit, so there's only 5 digits after the decimal point, and there we go. Now I've got 33.17855 degrees north by 96.88607 degrees west. And that will take me right here. And that's great because that's where I know exactly where it's going to navigate me to. Fantastic. That's what I want. So if you can't find it in the database, search it on Google Maps and then get the coordinate. And then just, yeah, that's the way to do it. Now, as far as managing these favorites, well, I don't think any one device or app manages favorites very well. It's better if you just, I know it sounds stupid, if you just write them down, put them on a piece of paper, and then just type it in when you need to. Or use your, if you're using an app, you can use your history feature. You can even use that for the recent locations on Garmin's. Well, with Garmin's, you can just save them, which is great. On apps for phone, you sort of can save them depending on app. The last thing I'll mention here is that can you go with less digits so they're easier to remember? Now I'm zooming this in on purpose so you can see exactly where the pin is. Now technically you could get away with just 4 digits after the decimal. So if I round the number here, you notice it says 33.17855. So if I do change this to a 1786 instead of 88607, I round the last digit in 8861. Now when I enter this updated location, watch the pin. Okay, see how it jumped a little bit? Now technically speaking, this is 33.17860, 968861, as in 0. Sometimes you can get away with this. So at this point, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, a 12-digit number to remember. And you could commit it to memory. If you go to a location enough times, you could actually remember because remember, a phone number is only 10 digits. in the United States at least. So could you remember 12? Yeah, you could remember 12, probably. But this sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, because sometimes the pin will jump a little bit too much because you're taking away location resolution when you do this, which is why 5 digits after the decimal is fine. 6 is just overkill. This is true, but 5 totally works. That's why in earlier Garmin's, like the newer Drive Smarts, you can do 6. You can do 6 decimals after the excuse me, 6 numbers after the decimal. Whereas on the older ones, like that Nuvia I showed a moment ago, it's just 5. Even Garmin knew back then 5 is all you need. Now, for example, if I was to do it like right in front of the store, I'll use this. I'll go right over this car. Okay, there is the point. Okay, I've marked that car. So here is right here. I'm going to copy and paste that into here. And what I will do is first I will shim them down to 5. We'll see what happens to the pin when we do that. Okay, it only moved just a little bit south, just a tiny bit south. But now let's see what happens when I shim this down to 4 digits after the decimal. So 17693. Okay, I don't need to increase the number because I'm rounding. And 88442. Okay, I don't need to round that. I'm rounding down, so it's this. Now let's see where the pin moves to. Okay, still good on this one. It just moved a little bit southwest, so I could use 33, 17, 96, 96, 88, 44, which is actually a really easy number to remember. So yeah, and as a matter of fact, you can mess around with this to make it even easier if you wanted to. So it's 1796. Let's see where it happens if we do 1800. Okay, yeah, see, they took it's still within the parking lot. Okay. And 8844, let's try 8840. Ah, see, this wouldn't work. Well, it would work, but at the same time not, because it's inside the building. Okay. So let's try 8850. Okay, well, this one put it into kind of the center of the parking lot, which still would work. So now we've got a really easy number to remember. 33.1800 by 96, 33.1800 north, 96.8850 west. That is a number you could commit to memory, because at this point it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12. Yeah, you could remember this. And if you think, no, I can't remember numbers, you could. Remember, we all used to remember phone numbers. And before, people, no one remembers phone numbers anymore, but you did at one point. And you can do the same thing. Numbers are numbers are numbers. So if you can get them as simplified as you can, you might be able to actually remember places to go just by coordinate number. And which means you don't even have to write them down. So anyway, well, that's pretty much it. That's what I got to say about finding locations. And, well, ooh, my damn thing moved. I didn't even see it move. So yeah, that's it. See ya.